Hi, I'm Gary Kim, the editor of IP Business Magazine, and I'm here today with Michel Veys, who's the COO of a company called JAJAH. I speak German, so sometimes I want to say JAJAH. It's JAJAH.
JAJAH, that's right.
For those of our viewers who are not familiar with JAJAH, what is it that the company does?
Well, JAJAH really provides telephony services. So we are a global IP telephony infrastructure and service provider. So what we do is we grew very rapidly, and we have now over 10 million users that are actually using our services. You can dial from anywhere through the web or from your phone directly, and we've also made our services available now as a platform to telcos, cable operators, and other infrastructure players.
So I'm a JAJAH user, so I know how I use your service, but this platform idea is very different for the company, is it not?
It is. And actually what happened is, as we were growing, what became very evident is that the telcos today are going through so much change that they want to be able to launch into the marketplace a number of innovative services very quickly. And what we can do is they can connect to our platform, and we can provide them both the front-end innovative services as well as all the back-end infrastructure, which includes fraud, payment, all the basic services that you really need to provide a service to the marketplace. And what we've realized is that as those companies want to do that, you roll out new services. You want to do it quickly. You want to be able to modify them. You want to be able to incorporate the feedback from your users, and you also need to be able to handle with the complexities of the international market. If you roll out in a new geography, you'll have new payment systems, new payment mechanisms that you're going to have to make available for the users. You're also going to have to deal with a different type of fraud. So there are a whole bunch of complexities there that you just need to be able to handle. And because we used to service today 10 million users in more than 122 different countries, we actually have all that available. So we can make this available now to telcos, to cable operators, and so forth, so they can roll out those services very quickly to the marketplace. And that has been very beneficial. And as you say, it's really a different positioning. And that's what has been very good for us, and also very good for the different operators and cable companies.
Now, when you first encountered JAJAH, I actually couldn't figure out what it was because your approach was so different than everybody else. The phrase I think we're using is web-activated telephony. Explain why that's different than voice over broadband.
Well, web-activated telephony, I think part of it is how it really started. So where we started is we wanted to leverage whatever IP was able to bring to the consumer. We knew that millions of consumers were actually using the web and search engines in order to do any standard search on the web. But very few users were using voice over IP as we know it today. And part of that was the complexity to it. So the basic principle was, how can we bring this technology to market and make it as easy to use as a search engine? And that's really what happened. You could go to the website, you can still do that today. You go to the website, you basically type in your phone number, you type in the number of the person you want to call, you click call, your phone will ring, their phone will ring, and you have a great connection at an incredible price. So that's where that term, web-activated telephony, came from. And then we've significantly expanded from there. So you can have buttons where you can actually, put a button on your blog, put a button on your website, put a button, in your email, and people can call you, and you can then decide, the preferences. If you're going to allow people to call you, go to voicemail. If you're going to, it's a toll-free service that you effectively provide, so it's like a 1-800 button for you. So there are a whole bunch of different services that we have grown around this very initial base, and can now make all this available to a number of operators. So instead of focusing on the consumer business, we've really refocused the company, as the company was growing, to more of a B2B play.
I understand that one of the avenues that got you to where you presently are is that you have this global infrastructure for calling set up. And then at some point, either partners say, gee, this is really useful, can you wholesale this to me?
Exactly.
And so you decide to create literally your own network. Can you talk about the network a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we realized is that as the business was growing and our consumers, as we were doing research with our consumer base, is that the quality of service was absolutely essential. And in order to manage that quality of service end to end and provide the highest quality call, we really wanted to be able to monitor it and be in control of the network. So we started building out our own network. And today we have major centers throughout the world. So we have them in London, we have them in the United States, in New York, we have them in Tel Aviv, we have connection points, in many countries. And that allows us, with a NOC that's up all the time and really checking all those connections 24/7, to provide the highest quality of service, which was absolutely essential in our growth. And then, as you said, I think the other point that's very interesting in what you bring up is, as the company was growing, companies came to us and said, how can we leverage your services? And they realized that we were doing much more than just the telephony part, because we could provide the overall infrastructure. And one of the major players that's using us is actually Yahoo. So Yahoo today, as JAJAH is actually is managing all of the premium services for Yahoo Voice. So when you'll be making a call using Yahoo straight from your PC, and you will call a cell phone or a landline, all that will be managed by JAJAH. And we will also take all of the payments, manage the fraud, so everything really is a managed service. And that's the beauty of the product, is that now a company like Yahoo can focus on their core strengths and don't have to worry about either the technology behind it, the regulatory issues, and we all know how many there are, or the payment or the fraud or any of those different aspects that are essential in providing a great service to consumers.
Just to make sure that people understand what you're doing, the example you've used of Yahoo might lead some telecom service providers to think, oh, this is an over-the-top play, it's not for me. But what I understand is you have some customers who you can't announce yet that are actually service providers in the traditional sense, and your platform is aimed actually at not just the Yahoos of the world, but also at telecom service providers.
Absolutely. Telecom service providers have the same challenges, right? We recently talked to over 15 executives of large European and large US telcos. And a lot of the message that came back was they see their major threats as being a loss of landline and also of new IP service providers coming in. And they see major opportunities in an international play and in IP value-added services. And that's what we can do for them. We can actually provide those services and help them bridge that gap and much quicker go to market with solutions that will allow them to be competitive in their marketplace, or to actually go into new marketplaces where they're not present today. So you're absolutely right. Yahoo is just one example, but as an infrastructure player, you really provide service to a number of different operators, and the traditional telco operators, be it mobile or fixed line operators, are very interested, and we'll have some announcements which are literally in the wings, as well as cable operators, where we are providing some of the back-end infrastructure in order to provide those new innovative services.
I would assume one of the applications for a cable operator in the US, for example, is people who have calling needs in Europe, Latin America, or Asia. And obviously, if you're a major cable company, at some point they'll have domestic calling covered. Right? But you have users who are also your customers who want to call in these other areas, and that's where your play is really valuable.
Absolutely. That's where our play is valuable to them. That's where we can actually provide them some products and services so that they can start making packages, bundles. They can leverage their branding, their marketing expertise, and leverage then the innovative products that we bring to them so that they can differentiate in their own marketplace and provide very appealing and very innovative products for international calling, which can be used domestically as well.
Well, thank you, Michael.
Excellent. Thanks very much, Gary.
And thanks for watching.
Thank you.